All right, so beginning of 2020, this was supposed to be an update video to be sent out like on the first of the year and do the whole like New Year's resolution thing, but I'm really bad at those and no one really asked for this video, so I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways because I've got an awesome update. And this time I actually wrote down the things that I'm going to be saying so I don't just ramble on all the time. Usually 2020 or usually the beginning of the year I will say something like I want to go ahead and update every single week and tell you guys what's going on, but then I end up just doing it whenever there's something significant that happens. Well, 2020 has begun and something significant has happened. Two things actually. So let's get started. First things first, I'm getting married this year. Like, I have a wife by the end of 2020. It's going to be ridiculous. Not in a bad way, but like, I never thought I would get to this like moment because when I was a young kid and I was going through all these like stupid relationships where I'd get broken up with, I always thought there was something wrong with me to the point where I thought I would never find a person that would want to go ahead and stick with me for the rest of their lives. And now 2020 is here and our wedding is planned. Like, not fully planned, sorry. We have a date and we have a venue booked and we're going to go ahead and actually be married by the end of this year. So I'm going to have to start checking off married on boxes and stuff, which is mind-blowing. And no, this is not the permanent ring. It is a prototype, per se, where it's a $4 ring from Amazon, and I wanted to go ahead and, I have knobby knuckles, and I wanted to go ahead and find a ring that would go ahead and fit properly. And I know you can use a ring sizer, but I wanted to actually wear something so I'm not dropping like a few $100s on like a titanium like permanent ring and then realize I don't like the color and I don't like the feel of it. So I went ahead and got this guy because $4, whatever. And it's black, so I don't know necessarily if I like the color or not. I might go with like a brushed silver or something, but then this is exactly why I got it. So I can look at it and I can wear it around the house and go like, oh, okay, like I don't like this. But so basically that's the gist of it. So yeah, the real ring is to be decided, but we do have the timer set, and the save the dates will be going out to let everyone know when it's gonna be. But as of right now, like the venue is booked, the down payments are down. Like this is happening. The timer has begun, and so like it's been quite a mind trip to think like we need to start planning like cakes and like guests and like everything. So it's cool, it's exciting, but it's also kind of weird and interesting because again, I've never done this before and I'm never going to do it again. So it's like you might as well get this right the first time. But anyways, the main thing that I wanted to go ahead and actually say was I booked my second commercial in the beginning of 2020. And that's awesome considering I've only ever done one commercial before, and that one was a few months ago. Sorry, I kind of just woke up. But I booked my second commercial at the beginning of 2020, and we filmed it already. Like, it's done, and I just now got around to actually finally dropping off this video for it. So a little behind the scenes look at how it happened. I had booked that commercial in 4 months ago, and then I went through this like big long drought. I got my commercial agent, and I was not booking anything. I wasn't actually going on any auditions. I went on one audition about a week after I got my agent, and that was an EcoCast, which is basically you send in the footage of your audition. You read out the lines, do whatever, and then send it in. I didn't get it, and after that, like, months went by without a single audition. And that was so weird to me. And I know I should have done something about it within like a month or two, but finally December rolled around. I was like, I think it's my headshots because I've got good theatrical headshots. I just don't have good commercial headshots. Like, no good smiles like, hey, like, I'm going to sell you a product. It was like, everything was directed towards theatrical, like very stern and strict and I'm trying to be a model, but book me for your horror film where I'm the creepy guy. But nothing like, what's going on? So I finally, luckily at the same time, Casting Network, LA Casting, started doing this thing where you can upload as many photos as you want, as well as get free headshots twice a year. So I said, why not? Signed up for it, and I got my headshot session booked within 2 weeks. I think it was like the 18th I got them done. Uploaded them, and within about a week, I had already booked an audition. This audition. And that was the, January 1st or something. It was on a Monday. And now to tell you exactly how this process worked, I went in on a Monday, did the audition, and I said, you know what, like, it's my first ever one of 2020, so, like, already that's good. If I don't get it, who cares? There's probably more to come, but it's awesome that I got one audition within, like, a week of 2020, or, again, 2 weeks or whatever it was. I went ahead and did the audition, and since Tuesday was the callback day, I said to myself, okay, here's my expectation. If I don't hear back from them by the end of Monday, I didn't get the call back. I went ahead and kept checking my emails until about midnight. Nothing. Woke up at like 7 a.m. because my cats were crying and said that they wanted food. Still nothing in my email. The callback was supposed to be at like 2 o'clock or something. And by 12:51, I get a text from my agent saying, hey, you haven't confirmed your callback. What? So right when I checked that, then I get an email saying I got a call back. And I'm like, what the fuck? Apparently it wasn't going through or something, so they had to resend it. I don't know. Regardless, I now have about like an hour or so to get ready. So I throw everything back on that I did yesterday. I'm freaking out. Oh my God, I got a call back. Holy shit, like this is crazy. Sam's like, shut the fuck up and just go to the callback because, you know, you're wasting time right now getting ready. And I was like, you are so right. Awesome. And I ran out the door, jumped on the bus. Luckily, it was up in Hollywood, and I'm like 5 minutes away from Hollywood. So I took the bus all the way up there. I was like 15 minutes early. I sat there, and I was just like freaking out in my head, like, okay, so first callback in a while, like, just remember what I was doing. Like, I was texting people that I had acting classes with and like other acting friends. What are you supposed to do on a callback? Like, they just said, do the thing that you did to get the audition. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. So I did that again. The fitting was on Friday. So I said a level. If I don't hear back by like Wednesday or Thursday, I probably didn't get the role. Again, who cares? At least I got a call back. At least with my first audition, I got a call back. That's awesome. And that is something to be proud of. And according to Sam, she said, you didn't even realize you had gotten the call back. So what do you have to lose? Like, you got the audition. You didn't think you booked anything. So just have fun with it. And I was like, you know what? You're so right. This is why I'm marrying you. Bing! And I went ahead and I just said, fuck it. I just had fun with it. And by Thursday, again, I'm like distraught because, again, as an actor, you're like, did I get the role? Did I get the role? Did I get the role? So I'm saying to myself, well, Friday's going to roll around, like the fitting, and it's going to be Thursday night, whatever. I didn't get it. And then I could finally put my mind at ease and work towards the next audition. Thursday morning, it was like noon, I think, or 2 o'clock, and I'm like playing poker on my computer, and I get a call from my agent, and I'm thinking, okay. And I'd forgotten about the commercial at this point, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I did something wrong. Like, I must have posted something to social media that was frowned upon, or someone didn't like, and they're saying they're going to drop me, or she's going to say, like, hey, your headshots aren't good enough, like, we need to talk, or I'm going to drop you for various reasons. And I started to freak out. I really started to freak out. And she goes, hey, Garrett. And I was like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, well, we have a booking. And I was like, please don't fuck with me. Like, please tell me that you're please don't mess with me right now. And she's like, no, I'm not. Like, they want you for the commercial. And I fucking lost it right there on the phone. Like, I started crying to my agent, and I was like, I'm so sorry that I'm crying to you right now. Like, this is just it's the beginning of the year, and I haven't had like a callback in a while. Oh my God. And she's like, congratulations, and here's to 40 more. And it just made me so excited. And after that, I said, thank you. Hung up the phone, and Sam was at work at the time, so I was all alone, and I ran around the house, and I was just crying my eyes out, and I was just so fucking happy that, like, I had got this role, you know, like, as an actor, you know, you're always obviously trying to put your heart into every single role or every single, I get role that you're trying to get, every single position that you're put into, whether it be, a background character or it be a foreground character or a starring role. And I had booked a starring role in a commercial. Like, those commercials that are like, like they have a person that they focus on and they're like the star, the hero, if you will, of the commercial. Like, that's going to be me. I have a voiceover in this commercial. I've got an actual, like, people are going to be seeing this commercial and they're going to be seeing my face throughout the entire thing. If it's a minute long, like, I'm going to be in at least like 50 seconds of it besides the product. And then it blew my mind that this is happening. So I called Sam immediately. Luckily, I had just got off work, and I called her and I was like, oh my God, I booked it. And she's like, yeah, I knew you did. And she came home and I jumped at her and I was like, holy shit, like, this is actually happening. I have to do the fitting tomorrow, and I got all the info for the fitting. And again, I cried, and I put on music, and I listened to Panic at the Disco's, High Hopes, because you always get high hopes when you go on these commercial auditions. And I was screaming the lyrics, and God, I went to the fitting the next day, and they tried me on all these different outfits, and we were having such a good time, and the stylists were just so funny and just having a great time with me. And the producer walked in and he shook my hand. He's like, hey man, like, we're so glad to have you. And I was like, yes, like, this is awesome. Like, I'm making friends with all these people. And then they go ahead and give me the call sheet. And the call sheet is for Monday and Tuesday. And luckily, I always have Mondays and Tuesdays off. So this, like, worked out so perfectly. And I was like, this is awesome. And I went ahead and I did my fitting, and then and then Saturday morning I actually got right after I had gotten the audition or the fitting done, one of my coworkers called me and was like, hey, do you want to help me do like a photography session and model some clothes for me? And I was like, sure. Like, so now we're tacking on, like, oh my God, like, I'm in a commercial and I'm going to be modeling some clothes, which I can use on my resume, as well as use the photos in my resume and, my headshots and stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, like, now I have a print credit in my resume. Yes. Anyway, so that went by, and that was really awesome. But then Monday rolls around and I get to set, and people are like walking up to me and shaking my hand, and the director of the company that is doing the commercial and for the product is like, oh my God, like, it's you, like, thank you so much for doing this, like, we are so glad to have you. And I was like, no, I'm glad to be here. And they were like, you were just the perfect person for this role. And like, again, we're super excited about this. And I was like, this is awesome. So I go ahead and I do my first scenes, and while the camera is like staring at me, and I'm supposed to, like, do, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm supposed to do insert thing with product. And every time I would do it, they'd like laugh, and it's supposed to be a humorous commercial. So like, they were just like, oh my God, like, that's so funny. And you could hear them on the monitors like 30 feet away just laughing at whatever I'm doing. And that's filling me with this like excitement, because I'm going into this nervous as shit, thinking like, what if I'm that guy that they're like, no, do it again. Hey, listen, your audition, you did it perfect, but do it like that. Don't do it like this. Cut, take again, do it. So I was thinking like I was going to fuck something up. It turns out that like I was just killing it. And people were coming up to me afterwards on day one, just shaking my hand. Dude, you killed it. You did so good. And I was like floating right now. And I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, people are loving me for my work. And like, this is fucking incredible. Tuesday rolls around, and this time it's actually the whole narrative part of the commercial. The first part was like the all product. This is now the narrative, where it's like, here's the reason why they're using said product. And it was just so funny. And again, it was supposed to be funny. So I'm doing things and people are laughing, and you could hear them, because now we're in a 2-story building where in one area we're filming, and then down below in the crafty area, that's where the monitors are set up, and that's where everyone is watching it. And after we would do the scene, you would hear them just erupting in laughter in the other room. And it was just so funny to hear that, because they would go, Yeah, it sounds like they like it. So let's ask. Hey, we can hear you guys. It sounds like you guys actually enjoyed it. Do you have any notes? Oh yeah, no. Okay. Okay, moving on, guys. And that is just such a huge thing to know that like you're doing it in like one take or maybe two or three, and only because not that you did it wrong, but because they just want to like see the different variations. They want to go from like a okay, do it super silly. Okay, now take the silliness down a little bit. Okay, now do it super serious. Okay, awesome. And just for shits and giggles, let's go fucking above and beyond and over the top and just fucking overact it. And we're like, all right. And so we do this, and it's just the most fun process to be on. And I know I've been on student films before, and I've been extras in like, big movies, and I've done a commercial before, but this was something so new to me because I was the star of it. And people were then coming up to me when we wrapped and afterwards, and they were shaking my hands, and dude, you were so funny, you killed it. And God, that was such a good feeling. And then I went down to see the director and everything after we wrapped, and like they were shaking my hands, and they said, we could not have done a better job on casting. Like, you were so perfect. And to hear that, like, that's amazing, And I'm trying not to be an emotional person, but like, this is what I moved out here for. Like, this is what I moved to LA for. And the beginning of 2020, like, my first audition, my first booking, and it's the starring role in a commercial. And it can only go up from here, because then once that airs, people see that and they start to see your face, and then they either recognize you in public, which I doubt that's going to happen, but it'd be pretty fucking cool. But better, casting directors are going to see that, and they're going to go, we want that guy to come in and audition. And then I'm going to get more auditions, and it's just, everything's been just going so well for the past like 15 days or whatever day we're on in January that I'm excited to say like 2020 is definitely my year, and I could say I'm seeing 2020. Yeah, that was a terrible joke, but I had to. It just came to me right there. But no, that's my update, and I ran way longer than I expected. We're at 17 minutes, but yeah, no, that was everything, and I really hope that the next video that comes out won't be just some like, oh yeah, so another week went by and it was really cool, but it'll be some kind of awesome update again of like maybe another booking or another audition or whatever the case may be. So yeah, 2020, it's been 15 days, one audition and one booking. Booyah, baby! I'll see you guys later.